Aloha, I'm Sabrina with a Begin Being, and in this video we're going to be discussing the third key to moving to the new earth reality and master manifesting. So I've already done 2 other videos with 2 other keys on this particular topic. If you haven't watched those videos, that's perfectly fine. Go ahead and watch this video till the end, and then the other 2 there are going to be in the links in the discussion or the description below. So now in this video, we're going to be talking about the third key to master manifesting and moving into that new 5D new earth reality. And the third key is to be able to write a goal. Now, in some ways, that's like, oh, write a goal. Okay, I want to make more money. Done. Not actually. And that can sometimes be why people are trying to manifest stuff and they're not getting what they want, because they did write, I want a new career. That's my goal. Okay, great. Well, how do we accomplish this? So the reason why it's super important is to be able to write your goal out and to be able to write it in a way that you can hand it to anyone in maybe in your field. So say you want to sell more houses as a real estate agent. Well, you should be able to write out your goal and hand it to anyone who is also a real estate agent, and they should be able to read it and be like, oh yeah, that makes sense. That's perfectly good and solid goal. So like I said, some people, they just write out, I want a new job, and then that's it. Okay, well, how are you going to get there? What action are you going to take to be able to get there? So action and focus are some of the other keys that you need to do to be able to move into that 5D reality and to be able to manifest anything. But first, if you're going to take action, you have to have a plan, right? You have to know, I'm not going to be oh, I'm not going to start putting on Google Maps, I'm going to type in, I want to go somewhere. I need to type in an address. Otherwise, Google Maps won't be able to take me to the place I want to go. So you got to type in your address. You have to give instructions. So what happens is your conscious mind, that's your goal setter. So it will set the goal. So if your goal is, I want a new job, then your unconscious mind goes, great. And then maybe all of a sudden, for some reason, you find yourself getting fired at your current job, and then you are in a panic mode, and you get a job at McDonald's. Well, you just got a new job. Congratulations, you manifested what you asked for, because your unconscious mind is your goal getter. So if your unconscious mind is out there trying to get your goal, but as the goal setter, you didn't give it specific instructions, it's just gonna be okay, oh, you want more money? Look, here's a quarter on the ground. Congratulations, you have more money now. And is that what you really wanted? Well, hey, maybe you want a quarter, and that's probably not what you wanted when you say, I want more money. So you want to have a specific goal in mind and have it written out and planned out. That way your unconscious mind's going, sweet, I know what to do. Here are the things we need to do, take the action to get to that goal. All right, so let's get into this. So any of you who have taken other personal growth and development courses, you might have heard of something that's called SMART goals. And that's what we're going to be talking about in this video today, is SMART goals. Now, I'm going to be using my experience starting a YouTube channel to go through the different SMART goals. And if you're sitting here going, okay, great, I've learned this before, what's the big deal? At the end of the video, I'm going to include something that almost everyone who does SMART goals or any goal type exercise always forgets to do, or maybe they've never even been told they're supposed to do it. So for now, we're going to start with S. So S stands for simple and specific. So now you might think, well, that's kind of contradictory, and you're right. So what you want to do is you want to find a harmony between the two. So you can sometimes be too specific. So in other words, you can be oh, I want this to happen this way on this date and this specific, and what you might be doing is blocking the universal energy. So you might be blocking that energy that says, ooh, okay, so your ultimate goal is you want a new job, right? And if you're too specific, you might be saying, well, I want a new job at this particular place, and this is the only place it can be, and this is like what I'm going after. Now that's okay. However, even though you think you want it at that specific place, I invite you to maybe open it up and be more simple with it, and instead list the qualities that you want in that job. Now those qualities might be that exact place, so you might end up getting that particular place anyway. And then other times what can happen is, sure, maybe you go in for an interview in that place, to that specific place, and then maybe you're interviewing for other places too, just, to get yourself out there. And what can happen sometimes is you might think you want this one particular thing because from what you've seen, they have a lot of the qualities that you're interested in. However, you might go to another place, do an interview with them, and realize, wait a minute, I actually like place B better than place A. So another thing with that is sometimes we get too caught up in the details that we write the goal out, and it's so detailed and it's so specific that we don't allow for any energy to come in. We don't allow for the universe to be like, ooh, cool, these are all the things you want, and surprise, here, I'm gonna give it to you in this way. So we don't allow that to come in. So like I said, I'll be using the creation of this YouTube channel to guide you through and explain what each of these mean. So when I'm creating the YouTube channel, specifically, I want to create a YouTube channel that deals with personal growth and development, some metaphysical, some esoteric, that kind of thing, energy work, and because that's all me, that's what I'm into. And I want to be able to share this knowledge with other people. So that's the specifics of what I want my channel to be about. Now, taking it out of, making sure it's simple, taking it out of complications. So I could sit there and say, okay, well, I want my channel to only be about Huna, which Huna is an ancient Hawaiian energy technique, which I teach at live trainings. So I might start saying oh, well, I want the channel to be about that specifically, which is true. And at the same time, I can also open myself up to other possibilities, like making this video, for example. So I kept it simple and just saying, metaphysical, esoteric, energy work type of channel. And then say we're applying this to a new relationship or something. Well, specifically, you can say, I want a male, if that's what you're into. And then keeping it simple, if you start to sit there and say okay, I want a male and he needs to be a certain skin color, he needs to have a certain eye color, he needs to have a certain jaw structure, he needs to be a certain weight, and so those are a bunch of physical. And then he needs to be really smart, he needs to have at least a college degree. He needs to really in-depth conversations, so it's a lot of mental stuff. He needs to have a high EQ, so he needs to be able to know how to handle and deal with his emotions. And I would like him to have some sort of spirituality, maybe he meditates, or he has some sort of mindfulness practice, or maybe for you it's he goes to church or something like that. And you're listing all of these things and you're getting all of these details down and you're writing them down. Well, what if he has every single quality, but he has the wrong color of eyes? What are you gonna do then? So you're trying to manifest someone with this perfect color of eyes, but you're not allowing the universe to bring in the person who's actually perfect for you, but they have different colored eyes. So again, it's being specific. I want a male. And yes, it's good to list a lot of those categories and be a little bit flexible. Be a little bit okay, well, the eye color doesn't matter so much as maybe I want him to be a good person, okay? So just kind of that balance, that harmony between the two of them. And M stands for measurable and meaningful to you. So measurable. All right, well, what are the things that I can measure with the channel? Well, I can measure subscribers, I can measure watch hours, I can measure like how many videos I'm making. All of those certain things are measurable. For like a date or something, maybe you're measuring like, well, how many times are you going out on dates? Like, what are you doing to take action to be able to manifest to your specific person? If you're trying to get a new job, well, how many interviews are you going on? Like, you can measure the interviews, measure the success of the interviews. And then meaningful to you is, so, okay, maybe I can measure like how many hours that are being watched or how many subscribers, and is that really meaningful to me? Kind of not really. It is in a sense, because the more subscribers that I have, the more YouTube's going to put my videos out. You know, the more the algorithm's going to work to get my videos out, which is kind of the whole point. So in a way, I care about subscribers, but it's also sort of meaningless to me as well. So the way I need to think about it is, okay, kind of don't care so much about the subscribers, but I do care about, are they sharing the content? Are they enjoying the content? Are they finding the content valuable? And that is a little bit harder to measure, but what I can measure is the number of subscribers, because in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, well, if they subscribe, surely they're liking the content. If they're liking the videos, surely they're liking the content. And that's the whole point. A is achievable, and all areas as if now. So is your goal achievable? For this, I'll go to the person who broke, I think it was like the 3-minute mile. So at a certain time point in history, people didn't think that you could, I'm pretty sure it's 3 minutes. People didn't think that you could like run faster, like run under 3 minutes. And this one particular person, he was like, I can do it. But at first, people kind of thought like that's not something that's achievable. And so if it's not achievable, then maybe you want to rework your goals so that it is achievable. For me, something that's not achievable is producing a video every single day. So to be successful, like, or to be, you know, one of the top YouTubers, all of them, they produce a video every single day. That's simply not achievable to me, because I'm not trying to like leave my 9-to-5 job. I have a job that I love very much, and I'm in no way trying to leave it through YouTube. So, but this is like an addition to that. So what's achievable for me is 1 video a week. So writing my goal, okay, my goal is to make 1 video a week. And then all areas of life. So I teach Neurolinguistic programming, which is NLP, and it's kind of like what Tony Robbins does on a more like detailed, in-depth level. In there though, one of the things that we teach about, and this is also from psychology too, so it's not just NLP, well, NLP is a branch of psychology, but it's not just NLP, it's all over psychology. And different places will have different amounts, but basically there's about 6 major areas of your life. A couple of other places will like add some areas and stuff like that. But basically, you need to look at all 6 areas of your life. So the 6 areas of life are personal growth and development, physical health, relationships, family, career, and spirituality. Now, other places, like I said, like they'll have more categories, like some people believe that friends should have its own category and stuff like that. But those are the major 6 areas of life. And what this particular part of it is asking is, if you focus on this one area, so in the example of my YouTube channel, I'm gonna have to think about all of the other areas of my life. So to me, the YouTube channel is kind of a mix between like career and personal growth and development, and because it's more like career based, and I already have stuff I'm doing for my career, which makes it a little bit more also like growth based for me as well. But what I'm going to have to do now is look at the other categories. So for example, physical health. Will it affect my physical health? Well, possibly, because the more I'm making these videos, the less time I have to do other things. So it could potentially affect like how much yoga I'm able to do, if I'm able to go out and play like pickleball, or if I need to stay home and film a video, stuff like that. So I'm going to have to be mindful if I do not want it to affect my physical health, then I still go out there and do the things like I take my nature walks and stuff like that. I still go out there and, you know, provide stuff for my physical health and don't like abandon that particular section. The R stands for realistic, responsible, and ecological. So for realistic, like for my YouTube channel, I'm like, okay, well, what kind of growth can I expect? What kind of growth is realistic? So looking at that, I set a very simple, realistic part of the goal of like, okay, well, how long would it take me to get to 1,000 subscribers? So that was my first like immediate checkpoint in my goal for creating this YouTube channel. And because again, like the 1,000 subscribers would kind of mean to me that people are getting value, people are subscribing and they're getting value and hopefully like sharing the videos and stuff. So I did some research and I looked at, well, how long does it take the average YouTube channel to get 1,000 subscribers? You know what I found? A year. A whole year. And I'm like, okay. I just think that's a really long time. That feels like a really long time to me. And here's the thing though, I did actually have a YouTube channel back in 2017. It was a completely different topic. It was more like conspiracy theory based. And my friend who I was doing it with at the time, like she no longer wanted to do it. And so we ended up like stopping the channel and I missed it. I've missed it since then. I didn't start back up back then. I probably should have. And you know, but I've missed it. And so what I ended up thinking back to, I was like, well, we got to 1,000 subscribers pretty quickly because we didn't even have our channel for a year. And so because I knew that it's possible to get 1,000 subscribers in less than a year, and I felt it was somewhere around a month or so, it might have been a little bit longer, not 100% sure, but it was super fast. And so I'm like, I think it's realistic to be able to get 1,000 subscribers in a month. And thank you, everybody. Thank you all of you guys who were my first subscribers, because we actually did it in less than a month. So it was obviously realistic, but that's what you're gonna have to look at, is look at whatever it is you're trying to do, and is it a realistic goal? Now, responsible and ecological. So I've talked about the concept of ecological before, and it's something we teach at our NLP trainings. And basically is it good for self, good for others, good for community, and good for environment? So for example, if my goal was to, I'll use like the Alaskan pipeline that a bunch of people like fought against it happening. So the oil company's goal was to create this pipeline, and unfortunately it was going to like disrupt a lot of homes, and it was going to like, people were going to have to like move, and there would also be possible contaminations in residential areas and stuff like that, and really bad for the potential leaks for the environment because of the way that they were going to build this pipeline. So there were a bunch of people like fighting against this goal from happening. So you want to look at, okay, is this goal something that's good for the whole system? Creating my YouTube channel, looking at it like, okay, well, it's great for myself because it's getting my like creativity, like I'm being able to be creative. I love being able to be creative. I love sharing knowledge. Like that's one of my most important values, is to be able to share knowledge. So it's definitely good for me. Is it good for others? Well, you're watching this video, so hopefully you think that it's good for you. And like I said, I got over the 1,000 subscribers, so hopefully they all think it's good for them. So in my mind, the whole point in making these videos is for it to be good for people and for them to get value out of it. Same thing for good for community. So now we can bring these topics up to a larger community and be able to have people look into, oh, what is this new earth stuff? What is this higher vibration that people are talking about? And then good for the environment, well, as people start to vibrate at a higher frequency, it actually raises the frequency of the entire planet. And then it gets to the point where, like the old 3D reality, the thought system is more like, about the self. It's more about like, well, what's good for me? Like, what's in it for me? Am I going to, you know, be able to own a plane and a boat and a this and a that while other people are starving? There's nothing wrong with owning the plane and the boat and all of those fun things. There's nothing wrong with that. And you have to go, okay, hold on. I have all of these things, and there's literally people who don't have water, who don't have access to water. They don't have access to food. That's a huge imbalance. And so moving more into that like 5D higher vibration, we'll begin to do things like care. Like care if people don't have their basic needs met. Care that maybe like trees are being cut down, or ozone, or, you know, all of those different things about the health of our planet, and making sure that we are taking the care of the planet not just for us, but for generations and generations and generations in the future. So T stands for timed and toward what you want. So timed, going back to the YouTube example, so with 1,000 subscribers, the time for that was a month. And for a relationship, sometimes this can be like, ooh, well, what am I supposed to put for a time? My best advice for this is to be able to think like, okay, well, maybe you put like a year out. And when you're doing time, make sure and be specific about the time versus tomorrow, like using words like tomorrow or next year or a year from now. Because here's the thing, once tomorrow comes, it's tomorrow again. So tomorrow actually technically never comes. There's this thing that I haven't seen it personally, but I know other people who have seen it, that you like go into a bar and it says something like free beer tomorrow. And so people will sometimes like see that sign and like, oh, sweet. And they'll come back the next day and they'll be like, okay, where's my free beer? And then like the bartender will point to the sign and be like, free beer tomorrow. And the person's like, oh, okay, got it. So it's a joke. And so, but tomorrow never comes. So if you say, well, I want to be in a relationship next year, well, again, next year never comes. So if you say like, you know, say it's January, okay? So then you're like, say it's January 2024. And you're like, all right, well, I want to be in a relationship by January 2025. And then here's the key to a relationship. You say, or sooner. And that pulls the energy to where it doesn't have to go all the way to 2025. You can pull it sooner than that as well. And in the meantime, that gives you plenty of time for the energy to work its magic and for you to be able to accomplish your goal. And then for toward what you want to make sure that you're working for your goal to move toward your goal, and not that it's like a move away from something that you don't want. So in the example of like if you're working on your physical health and maybe you want to like lose some weight or something like that. So if you weigh say like 200 pounds and you want to weigh like 180 pounds, so you want to lose 20 pounds of weight. Well, if you start thinking like, oh my goodness, I don't want to weigh this much because, you know, I'm going to get married and I'm not going to look pretty in my dress, or I don't want to like weigh this much because I don't feel pretty, like, or I don't feel handsome, I don't feel like I look good. Then that's kind of a move away from, like it's a pain point. So you're setting this goal because you're like, oh, I am in a dress size like 12 and I want to be in a dress size 4. And what can happen is if it's more of a pain point that it's like you're moving away from something that you don't want, or another really good one is a job. So some people, like, they're working a job that they absolutely hate. And so they want to get into a new job because they really don't want this old job anymore. That becomes like a move away from. So you're trying to get out of the job because you don't like it. Now, it's okay if you don't like your job. No problem. The point here is that if you're trying to get into that dress size and you do stuff that's more of like a move away from, what can happen is as soon as you get into that 4, you're like, yes, I did it. But then there's no motivation to stay there because you're just moving away from the size 12, or you're just moving away from the 20 extra pounds, but there's no movement to stay there. So maybe you're moving away from your old job, but you get into a job that's almost exactly the same as your old one. It's just with different people. Sometimes it can be actually even worse. So you want to make sure that your goals are always moved towards something that you do want, and it's not because you're trying to move away. So, for example, moving from the 12 to 4 dress size, well, it's because you simply want to be healthier, because you enjoy this, because this is the weight that you want to be at. You want to be able to maybe like run a marathon, or maybe you have all these different other goals that you're trying to get to, so it's moving towards. That job that you hate, it's moving towards something that you want. Okay, well, you don't like this, so what is it that you do want? And then that way you're moving towards and moving into something that's going to resonate better with you and resonate with who you truly are. And that's how you write your goals for the most optimum success to be able to achieve your goals and manifest what you are wanting. And then by going through this and being more on your path, that takes you more to the 5D reality. Now, I told you that there's one thing that most people forget to do, or perhaps they don't even know about it when they're setting their goals. And I told you I would tell you what that thing is. So what that thing is that they have created their goal, and then maybe they're taking their action or they're staying focused with that goal, but it's just kind of energetically, it's just kind of like sitting there. So the one thing that most people don't know about is putting your goal out into the future as if it's already happened. Now, there's different ways to do this, and the way we teach at our prac trainings and in our Huna trainings is you kind of imagine that you have a timeline. Now, your timeline, it's how you organize your memories, and for some people it looks different, it appears to be, or it feels different. And some people, like when you close your eyes, some people will see it, some people kind of like hear it, some people have more of a feeling of it. But what most people report is that when you ask yourself, okay, where is your past? Like when you're thinking of memories in the past, where are they? And a lot of people report them you also ask yourself, where are your future memories? So if you think about like things you're looking forward to, things that you're like, ooh, I have a date this weekend, and like you're looking forward to that. Things like that, or I have a job interview and you're really looking forward to that. It's kind of like more in the future. So in your mind, when you picture or when you hear or like when you feel those memories, how are they organized? And most people will say like either they're organized like front to back, like maybe like future's here and past is here, or vice versa, or sometimes it'll be like this. So sometimes it'll be like past and future, or future and past. Sometimes it's like a little bit diagonal. But most of the time they have it kind of like on a timeline, similar to like when you see like a history book and you see like a timeline and it's like, oh, this happened and this event happened, and in 1990 whatever, and 2000 whatever, this happened, and so on. And so you have this like way of organizing your memories. Now, one thing that you can do is normally when you close your eyes and you like visualize your timeline, you're kind of like right in the moment where you are now, and you can go backwards in your timeline, or maybe that's backwards for you, whatever that is for you, or you can go like forwards in your timeline, or maybe like I said, maybe it's over here or something, maybe it's over here. So you can actually take your goal, and really what you're doing is you're connecting to your timeline. And again, it's different for different people. Maybe some people it's more like a sound, maybe it's more like a feeling, like a kinesthetic type feeling. But you're connecting with it and you're dropping that goal, like you're visualizing dropping that goal right into your timeline. And there's other ways you can do this as well, but that's one of the things that you can do. You can do it through like visual meditations, stuff like that. But that is the key thing to accomplishing your goal, is to basically visualize it as if it's already happened. Now, I'm going to talk more about visualization in an upcoming video, but for now, those are kind of some techniques. And when I talk more about visualization in an upcoming video, we'll get more into depth about what exactly visualization is, and the fact that technically everybody does visualize, even if you think that you don't. Now, I've also been talking a lot about taking action in this video. So taking action, we're going to discuss that in further detail in the next video. So I will see you guys all next week. In the meantime, please always choose love in all that you do. Mahalo. And there's always one that like I keep wanting to list the first 5 again. Let me think. Did I say relationships? I think I did. Did I say spirituality, relationships, personal growth and development, career? Well, now I'm only at 4. How about I write them down? Oh, physical health. How could I forget that one? Battery again? Oh no. Oh good, well you're charged. To moving to the new earth 3, 5, something D. I don't know. We're moving somewhere. Where are we moving? One of my favorite lines from The Lord of the Rings is when they're all discussing like the hobbits and the elves, and they're discussing that they're going to Mordor and they're gonna like embark on this absolutely just like horrible journey. Like all of these things are gonna have to go through. And the 2 other hobbits, I think it might have been Pippin or somebody, but one of the 2 other ones, they were like, yeah, we're going. And then all of a sudden one of them goes, okay, where are we going? And like they volunteered and they had no idea about all the stuff they're about to go through. Anyway, I digress.